It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that one and done train. Welcome back to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. Coming at you live on a Sunday with the news and notes show. We're happy that you joined us. My name is Jay Heinrich. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train at Dr. William Cannon on X. The man sharing your viewing device with me, around here at least, and if you've seen the show, you'll know he's El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship at MC Holland 34. Give him a follow. It is time, Snake Eyes. Good to see you in there. Hop in the live chat with Snake Eyes. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hop in the live chat. We'd love to hear from you about your team, what you did over the Christmas, what your favorite present was, all that stuff. What crazy stuff went down with your family. Put it on the live chat if you want to. Mike, we had a little bit of a 4-day break from college basketball over the holidays. Kind of nice, the Diamond Head Classic was canceled out in Hawaii. And still champion Nebraska. Shout out to the Cornhuskers, reigning, defending Diamond Head Classic champs there. Mike, good to see you again on the screen, man. Hope you had a good holiday. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good, man. I feel rested, so that's kind of nice. It's always a blur through the non-con, and then it's kind of nice. I did miss that we didn't really have as much action going on, but it was nice to kick your feet back, watch some other sports, talk to my wife, hang out with my kids. So that stuff was all nice. But no, man, it was awesome, and I'm glad we're hopping back on it. Another slower type of week that we have this week, just with obviously New Year's coming up, 2026 right around the corner, man. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of talk about what's happened since we were last on about 10 days or so ago.
No doubt about it. We're going to get right to it here as Nate pops in the comments, pushing the buttons tonight. Shout out to you, Nate. Napesy Hustle over there doing his thing. Shout out to our guy at Fantasy Nap for setting up the studio. Shout out to you for hanging out with us here on One and Done. Let's get right to the opening possession, Mike. What does your opening possession look like on this fine episode of One and Done, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to fire up the old three ball again, man. Texas Tech pulling the big upset win over Duke, and I don't really know how they pulled it off. Toppin and Watts were both in foul trouble the entire game. They had some injuries, so their front court was a little shorthanded. Christian Anderson just proving to be one of the best point guards in the country. He went off today. Really, their entire team went crazy on Winthrop. But that game was over within like the first 6 minutes. So this Tech team, we were super high on them in the preseason. They take care of the ball. They can shoot threes. The thing that's really kind of hurt them this year has been defensively. Against some of the upper echelon teams, they really haven't been quite as stellar on that end. But once they get Bang Boye back from injury, they're going to be a real threat nationally. And then, man, we got to talk about North Carolina. They're continuing to impress. It seems like, they're the forgotten blue blood. But this resume that they've built up, man, it's been pretty solid over the first month plus of the season here. You got the last second win over Ohio State the other day. They have wins over Kansas, Kentucky as well. Vasar turning out to be one of the best transfers in the country. When you stack him with Caleb Wilson in that front court, that's a pretty dynamic front court there. And then they had the return of Seth Trimble, who came back from injury. So I'm still worried about this point guard spot, man. We're hearing a lot about that. Ask old Rick Pitino. But Evans and Dixon, man, like one of those guys is going to need to give them something consistent to really get this upside going for the Tar Heels. And then Creighton, we got to talk about this Big East. We've been asking, who's the third team in the Big East? Who's the third team in the Big East? And for me, I guess we could say Creighton because they lost to Kansas State a few weeks ago, and we left them for dead coming into Big East play. And now they are 8-5. After that loss, they were 5-5. Picked up 2 conference wins over Xavier Marquette. And those weren't just wins, they were blowout wins, Jay. And it finally looks like they've found something with this new lineup that they've kind of gone with recently. So, yeah, Creighton, who we thought would be that third team in the Big East, looking like it for now. We'll see what kind of happens in this Big East as we move forward, Jay.
They are, and that's one of those situations where happy to be proved wrong there. We sort of they left us wanting more in terms of just trying to consider where they would fall in the grand scheme of things, and they've sort of picked it up, So shout out to Creighton. Shout out to Darren for hopping in the live chat. We mailed in All right, Darren, I will tell you this. It is different than the last time you tuned in and saw the show. So, hey, we missed you too, buddy. Thanks for hanging out with us in the live chat. Thanks for the message around Christmas time, too. Good to see you, buddy. Always good to see you. All right, I'm going to get to my opening position here, and it starts with Kentucky, Big Blue Nation. Ding, ding, ding. Now, the views are going to go off the charts now because we mentioned Big Blue Nation here. Absolutely dynamic. We've been calling for it. We've been saying it. What happened? Jaden Quayton's getting back and making his presence immediately felt on both ends is exactly what Mark Pope's squad needed. A game changer in his first game back against a big and athletic St. John's team. 17 minutes, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 swats. I mean, it looked really, really good. Jalen Lowe and him being healthy, this is a completely different Kentucky team. Point guard, check. Center, check. Now this Kentucky team goes into SEC play feeling much better about their long-term perspectives. And we're going to find out, Mike. These tests are going to start to happen at a high rate of pace on the road at Alabama. We'll see what happens next weekend for them. And I want to make sure, just in case, my second point here, second shot, whatever you want to call it, I got the offensive board on my opening possession. Going to put another shot up here. I'm going to talk about the Cougars of Houston. That's right. I know that it's, oh wow, it's Houston. Paint dry and defense, and they win. Okay? They win, right? Don't forget about Houston. Just because they lost that game, don't write them off, right? You talked about North Carolina flying under the radar. I feel like nationally, the Cougars are not getting much love at all. Coming off that nice neutral court win over Arkansas where they dropped 94, a cool 94 there.
That works.
Young guard, yeah, that does work against anybody, basically. Those young guards have really been growing up quickly. And I think it speaks to the quality of the program when you probably can tell by the eye test it's down by their standards on the defensive end. They're still 8th in the country in defensive efficiency, Mike. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's the standard that this program has set. Big 12 play starts up for them on the road against Cincinnati on Saturday, and then the big showdown against Texas Tech after that. So I'm just telling you, I know sometimes it's Houston and they're not sexy. Nobody likes to, nobody necessarily writes books about the beauty of Cougar basketball. But we got to keep them on the front of our minds because they're one of those teams that has a shot to win any tournament that they are in. All right, good stuff. Push those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Pew, 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 pew. Push them. Push. Did you do it?
Easy button. Easy button.
Push it. There you go. Thanks. All right, you pushed it. We appreciate y'all for doing that. At One and Done CBB is where you can find us on all the socials. Make sure you follow us over there on X. Wherever else, just find us and the stuff will come. Just push the follow button. It's cool. Do it. At One and Done CBB on all the socials. Hey, Mike, I don't know if you heard, there was quite a clamoring last weekend. Not just because we ended up having to cancel the Sunday show, but there were people that were upset because everyone's favorite segment of the week was not here, but it is today, and that's called the Mid-Major Minute.
All right, well, we're back with the mid-major segment, as Jay politely described everyone's favorite segment here. I'm going to start in the Horizon League. Got the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Look, 6-7, not 6-7, 6-7 overall in the year, but 2-0 in the Horizon League. And Coach Greg Campy has his team playing some really solid basketball over the last few weeks. They played the second hardest schedule in the non-con because they opened up against Michigan, Purdue, and Houston in the first 3 games. That's how you get your mid-major team ready. And they also played Michigan State the other day to within 10 points. So, yes, this Oakland Golden Grizzlies team looking like they're going to be able to do some damage. They're starting out conference play 2-0 with wins over Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Northern Kentucky. Zaire Wells, man, he's been a big surprise to them this year, his ability to score the ball. And they have one of the better big tandems in the mid-majors with Buru Neverlarua and Isaac Garrett. So look out for the Golden Grizzlies. We'll slide over to the MAC, where the Bowling Green Falcons are 10-3, 1-0 in conference play. Coach Todd Simon has his program right in the mix of this conference. And this is a much improved MAC conference as a whole. You look at it up and down. They're 14th right now in KenPom strength of conference. They finished 23rd last year. So we're going to have about 5 or 6 teams battling it out to see who can win the regular season crown. And then we'll see their conference tournament's going to be one of the funner ones to follow. On offense, they got multiple weapons. It's led by Javante Campbell and also 6-year forward Sam Towns. So let's check out what's going on in the MAC over the next few weeks and see how the Falcons are doing. And then the last one we'll hit on is the Valley, the MVC, the Belmont Bruins, 12-1, 2-0 in conference, and Coach Casey Alexander's squad. They're up to 62nd in KenPom metrics. Man, you look at it, and Nick McClain, the transfer guard from Eastern Washington, he's been really good this year. They have the star wing Tyler Lundblade, who's once again one of the most dangerous three-point shooters in the country. And really, we kind of expect this out of Belmont. All Coach Alexander's teams have done is put up 20-plus wins, 10-plus conference wins. So when you look at the whole of the MVC, like the MAC, it's going to be super competitive to see who's going to win this regular season. And that will wrap up this week's edition of the Mid-Major Minute.
Oh, get caught up in it sometimes. It's a bop, and I don't just mean the song, I mean the segment. Shout out to the Mid-Major Minute, and shout out to Mike. Make sure, show Mike some love for the Mid-Major Minute and push the like and subscribe buttons if you have not already. Do your part in the one and done universe. Gonna have a DFS show coming up at the end of the week. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm sorry, Darren, it didn't make the pew 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 noise when you hit the subscribe button, but I feel like that the next 27 people that push it, it's going to happen. So may not actually happen. This is may not actually happen if you hit the subscribe button. Anyways, push the button. Show your broskies in basketball some love, and let's get to that top 25 power rankings, Mike, that Darren so eloquently teased earlier in the live chat, man. And it's going to start here at the bottom. Guess who's back? Back again. Kentucky's back. Tell everybody that's in Big Blue Nation. There you go. All right. Anyways, USC, Kentucky, Florida, Georgia line, and Virginia right there. You see it going across the bottom of the screen. I tried to get Florida, Georgia line. I didn't see it. It was a joke. I tried. Didn't work. Oh, not a ton of movement in this tier, Mike. 3 teams staying put, but Kentucky moving back in after an impressive couple weeks. Helps to get healthy, right? Virginia is still hanging out, showing a really nice floor this year.
Yeah, and then we also have USC kind of just hanging on by a thread. This Rodney Rice news, really tough, man. He's out for the year. But Jordan Marsh, the transfer guard, man, from the mids, been a pleasant surprise for them. And I think floor-wise, like talk about Virginia, I think they've got enough floor in the Big Ten. Ezra Sarr, Chad Baker-Mazara, that duo is really good. And then Georgia kind of in that same boat as well. We'll know more during conference play, what's going on with Georgia. They didn't play the toughest non-con. Florida is kind of the opposite. They played everybody in the non-con. They did rack up some losses, but we know the upside that they have with that front court.
No doubt about it. Moving on now to teams 20 through 16, starting with Arkansas, Illinois, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kansas. 4 teams in this tier falling back. Arkansas dropping with some legit defensive concerns, Mike. And we're going to navigate that Darren Peterson injury saga again. I like to joke about a while back about him just phoning it in and sitting out. And maybe he will here, maybe he won't. Kansas definitely, that's a tough one to have to deal with, to not know what you're going to get out of that star player.
Yeah, that's a real tough deal. We'll kind of follow that as it goes along, but Illinois and Alabama in this tier, man, massive ceilings, but they fell a spot, and it has more to do with what other teams did to kind of jump ahead of them. Tennessee continues to be a real head scratcher for me. Some nights they look like $1 million. Other nights they look like a first round upset waiting to happen, man. So this is definitely an interesting tier, man. A lot of really, really high upside teams in this tier.
Darren coming in with the SEC overrated. Okay, Darren. All right. It's very popular to say. I mean, Tennessee hasn't really beaten anybody or I should say this, when they've played tougher competition, they've looked outmatched more often than not. And that's the head scratching part about this, right? Like, can they put it together against the tougher competition? Tougher competition in the power rankings, moving up to the next five: Texas Tech, Louisville, North Carolina, Gonzaga, and Vanderbilt. The Commodores in their easy like Sunday morning. A big slide from Louisville and a big jump from Texas Tech. That Louisville, man, the live by the three, die by the three mantra that they go by, that could be a problem against the elites.
Yeah, I mean it's nice and it's fun to watch, but you have to shoot it really well in the tournament 6 straight times against a lot better competition. So we'll keep our eye on Louisville. Ceiling wise, I feel like some of those teams in that tier, below that, have a little bit more ceiling. But I digress. Gonzaga, man, really hard to judge what they're going to look like from here on out because they're just going to run through the WCC. Obviously, they have to play St. Mary. Santa Clara is much improved, but it's just they're going to rack up crazy analytics. I mean, they beat Pepperdine by 1,000,000 points today, so that's definitely going to look good on the per possession metrics there. Really like what we've seen from UNC, which we talked about. Vandy, the injury bug a bit, so we'll see. I mean, that's going to hurt some of their depth with Frankie Collins out indefinitely with the torn meniscus. That's a tough one. Not sure that's going to keep him out the entire year, but that's one thing to watch because that's one guard down. So it's going to put a little bit more on the plate to some other guys on the end of their bench there.
Everyone's second favorite, Braden Smith, the one for the Zags, playing his ass off lately, man, and he's made a big difference for them. And that's going to be fun to watch as they just roll through the WCC, Mike, like you said. Moving on now to the next five here from 10 to 6. It's Nebraska. It's the reigning Hawaii Airlines Diamond Head Classic champions from 2024. Anyways, Nebraska, who, by the way, Mike, I think we got to be truthers now about Nebraska. We just have to be. Nebraska's at 10. Michigan State is at 9. BYU is at 8. Connecticut at 7. And Duke at 6, falling down a tier after their letdown against Texas Tech at the Garden. Starting ACC play this week with Georgia Tech and Florida State. But I want to show a little bit more love here in this tier to Nebraska. Handling business, some nice wins on the resume. A team that we said they need to show it. And at this point, they have.
Yeah, they absolutely have, man. And then, you look at it. We also had Michigan State and BYU in here. Michigan State looked a little sloppy before the break against Oakland. They're going to need to continue shooting it from three. They don't take a lot of threes. That was a big concern for their ceiling, was whether or not they could make enough threes. They're shooting 35% right now. They need to hover around that 34 to 35, that Heinrich line in Big Ten play if they really want to challenge. UConn just keeps getting better offensively. Braylon Mullins giving them another option. A 5-star guard. That's cool. Another 5-star, AJ DeBonta looks unguardable. He's putting up video game numbers over the last couple of weeks. Big time triple-double the other day. And they have all the pieces, obviously, to be serious players for that Big 12 crown.
And beyond, like, nobody wants to play BYU in March. Not with that star power.
He's a matchup nightmare.
It doesn't matter what you do. Like, unless he's in foul trouble or he stubs his big toe on the hotel dresser, you're screwed. Like, you got to figure out a way to beat that team. Like, they're really, really good, obviously. And so is he. All right, Darren, let us know what you think about our top 5 as we have some people moving up, but not a lot of change at the top. Purdue back in the top 5. The Cougars of Houston at number 4. Iowa State, Arizona, and, of course, Michigan at number 1. Number 1 and number 2 remain unchanged, but that Duke loss has us moving Purdue, Houston, and Iowa right up one spot. Mike, I talked earlier about Houston. No need to elaborate there. You know how I feel about them. But Arizona and Michigan, like, they've been hands down the best 2 teams all year long. But I'm hoping that you're going to show some love to Iowa State here.
Yeah, and Steakside showing us love with the top 5, saying it looks good. Man, here's Iowa State. They look the part, right? We love Otzelberger. The schedule is, I mean, I've got, I'm like, okay, I've looked at what Arizona and Michigan have done against their competition, and I look at what Iowa State has done, and I would just put Arizona and Michigan just in that. If we had to separate this top tier, I feel like those two go, in tier A,
Sure.
and then Iowa State, Houston, Purdue, and Egan belong in that tier B of the top teams in the country, man. And then Purdue, they're kind of like Houston, like they have the ultimate floor. I don't know that they're a lock to win the Big Ten, man. Like we got all these Big Ten teams, and all of a sudden that we got to talk about. I like Illinois' upside. We just talked about Michigan State's going to be right there. Nebraska obviously doing their thing. So, yeah, I don't think it's a. I think most people at the beginning of the year would just said, "Oh, lock in Purdue for the regular season title." But I think it's going to be a little bit tougher as we go through, and we'll see what happens when they kind of start up Big Ten play.
I hope Iowa State can, this is about the time last year, Mike. I'm trying to tiptoe around the curse that I placed on Otzelberger last year around this time when they were playing really well. I was like, Coach of the Year candidate, and then they lost like 4 out of 5. I was like, God dang it!
Yeah.
But hey, that's a good coach. That's a good program. That's a good team. If you had to pick one team that's not in those top 2 tiers, that one that's just right outside, like you said, you got Arizona and Michigan up there, and then you've got that next tier of teams. Who's one outside of those 2 before we get out of here, Mike, that you feel like is the most likely to jump into that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it. BYU is obviously one of those, but I'll dig back down to the 11 to 15 range. I think Texas Tech and Gonzaga, they have massive upside, especially with what they have in their front courts and just the upside of their backcourts too, man. But yeah, hands down, man, Arizona, Michigan. It's just like, I know it's 1-game settings as we get into March and things like that, so anything can happen, right? But those 2, hands down, roster wise, they just, Arizona in particular, their backups, man, could be starters, for most schools in the top 25. So, just really bullish. I mean, they lost Kobe Pete the other day in the Alabama game. It didn't even matter. It's just like, okay, he 2 fouls, he's gone, doesn't do anything, and yet they're still dominating. So yeah, that speaks to the depth and yeah, just the ceiling that they have this year. So looking forward to this battle that we're gonna have. This is gonna be an awesome spring.
I like that Gonzaga call. Excuse me. I'm gonna brag on Braden, the other Braden Smith again. Like 15 assists and 1 turnover in their last 2 games. This is the time of year where if you're playing that type of elite ball, they might not lose. Seriously, I know that's not. There's some teams at the top of that conference that are gonna put up a fight.
Yeah,
but if they're taking care of the ball at the point guard position, that's a tough out in any format, whatever it is. Like, you don't want to play that team. So I like that. I like that Gonzaga call for sure. And BYU is really easy. I am going to say, man, I don't want North Carolina, man.
Yeah, it's not like the sexiest thing to say because of what we've seen over the last few years with them, right? But it's still a different team, man.
I've just been so anti North Carolina, and it does feel like one of those teams that just sticks around and pisses people off enough and gets under your skin enough and does enough of the right thing to advance in a tournament just 1 game at a time. Like, they really feel like a perfect, like, just 1 game at a time type team,
Yeah. They just got to figure out that point guard spot, man. If Dixon can kind of grow up and be that guy, or getting Trimble, he's gonna have the ball in his hands a little bit more. Evans, if he's able to if they can just get any type of consistency at that point guard position, they're gonna be a nightmare because that front court is. Vesar. He's just a beast, and we know Wilson is. He's gonna be an NBA stud.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Good stuff, Mike. Good stuff, everybody. Hanging out with us in the live chat tonight. Hey, the Seafoam Blender over the holidays. That's prime time, my friend. Thanks for asking, Snake Size, and thanks for hopping in the live chat with our guy Darren, of course, as well. Napesy Hustle, who's pushing the buttons tonight, hopped in the live chat as well. Good to see everybody once again hanging out in the lobby. Even if you didn't hop in the live chat, we'd appreciate you hanging out with us here over the holidays. We hope you had a good holiday season so far. New Year's coming up, so
Yep.
nothing really the
2026.
rest of this week, Mike, until Friday. I sort of teased it earlier. We're going to get a DFS show in for the Saturday slate, man. That's going to be an exciting one to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to that. We'll be back with obviously our Week 9 Sunday show. And then, yeah, hopefully full steam ahead after that. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Happy New Year's to all the breadheads out there. And, yeah, we're 720 subscribers. Find someone on New Year's Eve. Instead of giving a kiss, right? Like, grab someone's phone and hit the like and subscribe button out there.
1720, is that right?
Yeah, man. Not 1738.
1738. We'll get there. Push those buttons if you haven't already. Show some love. All right. Shout out to Nate for pushing the button. Shout out to Eric for getting the studio ready. Shout out to El Capitan himself, the captain of the one and done ship, keeping this thing rolling, keeping this thing afloat. At MC Holland 34 on X, the OG Money Mike. Good to see you, Mike. We'll see everybody again later on in the week, live right here on the One and Done College Basketball channel on YouTube. Until then, take care of yourself. Tell somebody that you love them. My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. We'll see you.